10th of July, Rabbi Levitt, Pele Yoetz.
Asdei Hashem. Okay, so let's get started right away. I won't tell you everything that happened. There's no point in that.
Yesterday, we're on 419 now.
Oh, really? Okay. 419?
419, yeah.
One second.
Paragraph of coercion.
Actually, it's 420. We did.
Oh, I see.
We did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we were on we were on the top of 417, so you got up to 419. Okay.
Yeah, we actually did 419, and we're turned over to 420. We got behold.
Oh. Okay. So you want to go from there?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay.
Which topic?
Coercion.
Kofe says.
Kofa.
Kofe. Okay. All right. So Lou, you want to start off?
Behold,
Yeah.
the Sefer Hasidim wrote that for each sin that comes to one's hand, and wherein his evil inclination attacks him to do it, he must think, if people decreed that one must convert to a different religion, he would surely sacrifice his life for the sake of the honor of his name. Is overcoming one's evil inclination more difficult and bitter than death? Therefore, one must overcome his evil inclination for the sake of the honor of his name. Our eyes see that almost all of Israel share a presumption of righteousness and are willing to sacrifice their lives for the sanctification of God's name. Yet, there is not one who totally conquers his evil inclination and is righteous on the earth, that will do only good and not sin. This is because there is not such a strong provocation of the evil inclination when it comes to sacrificing one's life, either because the sin of converting to another religion is so severe in the eyes of people, which is not so about other wrongdoings. Whose sin, the evil inclination minimizes in the eyes of people, as the commentaries explain in the verse, all the evil thoughts of his heart are only bad. Only is a word of exclusion, perhaps better translated as merely in this context. Or because a person thinks that death is painful only for a moment. And anyway, the end of all men is death. And when one sacrifices his life for the sanctification of God's name, he is immediately saved from his evil inclination and invited to the world to come. This is not so when it comes to overcoming his evil inclination's desire for other sins, which is more difficult, since his evil inclination relentlessly pursues him, and the Satan, prosecuting angel, stands by his right side to prosecute him.
Okay. All right. So you got the question that he's asking over here. Why is it that he maintains that we find that Klal Yisrael is able to be Nifter al Kiddush Hashem rather than convert to a different religion. They're successful to be able to do this. Whereas simply to say no to an Aveira, they find it very difficult. Well, it would seem that the reverse should be true. It should be or no, at least if they're able to give up their lives, lay down their lives in order for why? For what reason? Because they don't want, they can't do such a thing as renounce their religion. So why do they find it so difficult to avoid doing an Aveira? That's the way he says it. He says it as follows: is overcoming one's evil inclination more difficult and bitter than death? The person is accepting upon himself death as opposed to, and that he's able to do, but to say no to the Yetzer Hara, that he's not able to do. With the same success. So that's the question. How could that be? So that's what he's explaining over here. Mainly, what he's explaining is that because people it's regarded in the eyes of people that to renounce one's religion and to accept a different religion is a terrible, terrible sin and terrible shame and shame, terrible shame. So a person wouldn't do such a thing. He wouldn't be able to live with himself. All the condemnation that he would receive from if he would run into a person and say, "What? You now became a who knows what?" It's a terrible shame. But this that the person does an Aveira, the people don't attach that same amount of severity to doing an Aveira, and so therefore that's the reason why it's difficult to say no to the Yetzer Hara, because the person doesn't think that it's so severe.
But Hashem has made it not so. But Hashem has made it not so severe, because Hashem doesn't punish it to the same extent. Changing a religion.
What's the person's punishment if he refuses to lay down his life al Kiddush Hashem?
If he refuses.
Yeah, and he fails the test. Oh, he's gonna for failing to failing to die al Kiddush Hashem is where does it say that he loses his Olam Haba for that? Where does it say that?
Where does it say that?
You won't find it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He has a mitzvah now. He has an obligation to do so. Right? He has an obligation to do so. There's a mitzvah saseh, and if he doesn't do it, so he was mavatal the mitzvah saseh. Right?
Okay.
Maybe what you mean is, well, if he's now going to live as a goy, then he has no chelik in olam haba. Okay, maybe something like that. But but the actual refusal to die al Kiddush Hashem doesn't in and of itself forfeit a person's olam haba.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, so what comes out from this is that obviously the mussar that comes out is that we have to increase our understanding of the severity of sin, and then and like that, he's saying we will be able to rise to the occasion to say no to the Yetzer Hara. That's what seemed to come out over here. Okay. Very good. Let's go on to the next one. But the truth is, and we call upon Roy. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, please.
But the truth is what the masters of Musa, moral rectitude, already wrote in Chavat HaLevavot and Shat Shuvah. A man should not scrutinize the smallness of his sin, but the greatness of the master who commanded him. Whoever violates the command of the king, whether the violation is small or great, is considered a rebel against the king. Furthermore, they wrote that a person who follows the advice of his evil inclination, even if he violates only a minor prohibition, is considered like an idolater. Just as an idolater abandons God and accepts upon himself a star or signs of the zodiac as his patron and master, so too this person accepts his evil inclination as his patron and master who judges him. Likewise, there are many aspects which increase the blaze, especially if a person commits a willful wrongdoing. It is considered very severe. Moreover, since his evil inclination tempts him to commit an infraction, it provokes him to a greater degree, him not to be a martyr.
Read that sentence again.
Moreover, since his evil inclination tempts him to commit an infraction, it provokes him to a greater degree than which it provokes him not to be a martyr.
I'm having trouble with the English in that sentence.
Yeah, it's
The English, the flow of the English is a little convoluted there. I'm not quite sure what he's saying.
Mm-hmm. All right.
okay, let's see.
Well, maybe I'll just finish the rest of it and then we'll come back.
Okay,
Okay,
fine.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Might help, I don't know. Consequently, the reward is greater for a person who overcomes his evil inclination than for one who is a martyr. According to the degree of his pain, does a person provide satisfaction to his maker and receive his reward. God, in his compassion, will not abandon his pious ones such that they must wage war against their evil inclination forever. Only the beginnings are difficult. After they accustom themselves a little bit to walk in the ways of the righteous, then, quote, he protects the legs of his pious ones, unquote. Shmuel. Their heart, their desire, is empty within them. It will be pleasant and sweet for them to perform good deeds, and their soul will not desire evil. God bestows upon them reward as if they were constantly overcoming their evil inclination. For everything goes after the beginning, all of them are counted.
Okay, so Okay, let's start from the beginning over here. So the first thing he said is that even a small sin is regarded as a rebellion against the king, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who commands him on this particular sin. And then, person who follows the advice of his evil inclination, even on a minor prohibition, is like one who's an idolater, in the sense that he's abandoned Hashem and accepting upon himself a different patron and a different master. Who's that patron and master? He's accepting his evil inclination, he says. Who judges him? Okay. Kind of hard to understand. It's not. I don't think a person believes that his Yetzer Hara is judging him. A person, it's just he knows Hashem is judging him, but he feels he can't control himself from the sin. Okay, but let's go further. Likewise, there's many aspects which increase the blaze, especially if a person commits a willful wrongdoing, very severe. Now this is, moreover, since his evil inclination tempts him to commit an infraction, provokes him to a greater degree than which it provokes him not to be a martyr. That's what he said in the previous paragraph. That was another point that he said, that there's actually a stronger Yetzer Hara to tempt a person to commit an infraction than the Yetzer Hara that provokes him. Don't be Makadosh Shem Shemaim. Don't lay down your life.
So it's easier for a person. So he's saying that it's easier for a person to die al Kiddush Hashem than to not do an Avera. Is that, I think that's what he's trying to say with all the
that's what he said in the previous paragraph.
Okay. So there is something innate in a Yid that says that because of his kesher to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he will more easily, he finds it easier to give up his life for him completely than to not do an Avera. There's a kesher there that says it's easier to give up your life than to control your Yetzer Hara.
Well, so he's. You're giving an interesting answer, Eliezer. He brought the Sefer Chasidim's answer.
Right.
Himself. He said that the Sefer Chasidim says that the Yetzer Hara is less. Number one, the Yetzer Hara is less, and number two, he said that people regard the matter of renouncing one's religion as very, very, very serious thing. It's and so therefore, in regard to a very serious sin, a person doesn't so they're related, but he didn't. Those are the two reasons that he gave, because people regard this sin as being much, much more severe than that sin. And number two, he said that the Yetzer Hara doesn't shepherd the person on the more severe sin in the way that he shepherds him that he tempts him and seduces him on the lesser sin. That itself is one of the things that the Yetzer Hara says to a person. Oh, it's not such a serious thing. What's the big
Sure.
deal anyway?
Sure.
You know, et cetera, right? Whereas, what's the Yetzer Hara going to tell a person over here? It's not such a big thing to become a goy. What's the big deal? Okay, so you won't keep Shabbos, you won't keep kosher, you won't, you won't do this, you
Yeah.
won't do that, and everybody is watching you, because that's the Kiddush Hashem element, that it's in the presence of other Jews. That's a simple understanding of the Kiddush Hashem. So there's other people that are watching him as well. It's a public thing over there. The Yetzer Hara has a more difficult time over there, and he's not so active over there. Those are the two things that the Sefer Hasidim says. That was his explanation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he's saying over here. He's just merely mentioning what he already said in the previous paragraph, especially since the evil inclination tempts him to commit an infraction, provokes him to a greater degree than it provokes him not to be a martyr. And so therefore he says that if so, then the reward is greater for a person who overcomes his evil inclination than one who is a martyr. Why? Because it's according to the pain
Sure.
of following through and doing not doing the sin than it is to that's really what is koveya the reward, he says, which is a tremendous chiddush. Right? I mean, people think, oh, Kiddush Hashem, that's a tremendous reward for such a thing. He's saying here a tremendous chiddush that, in fact, the reward is greater for a person who overcomes his evil inclination.
That's why they say.
At least, maybe, perhaps. Yeah. Yes.
Could that be why they say? I'm going to paraphrase. I don't remember exact wording, but where a place where a Baal Tshuva stands that Tzaddik can't go, he does not reach the same level. Because Baal Tshuva has really been able to conquer his Yetzer.
Exactly. That's the explanation. Because the Tzaddik is he doesn't have it's much easier to stay away from something that you never ever did and never regarded as being permissible, right? Because you were brought up in a way that you can't eat that, you can't do that on Shabbos, So he doesn't get the same. It's not the same difficulty for him as it is for a Baal Tshuva. Baal Tshuva grew up his whole life. What's wrong with eating that? What's wrong with doing that on Shabbos? What's the problem? And so that's right. It's much more difficult for him. And really, the truth of the matter is that we have to understand something. When the Gemara says b'makom shebali tshuva, who is a Baal Tshuva according to the Gemara? A Baal Tshuva is someone who was steep. He was brought up in Mea Sharim, but he left the fold and became a heretic, became a renegade, and now he's coming back. That's really the Baal Tshuva of the Gemara. The Baal Tshuva that we know today as a Baal Tshuva is not what the Baal Tshuva that the Gemara understands. But the common denominator is I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. It's the same exact thing. Just like for the classic Baal Tshuva of the Gemara, since he went the wrong way and he got sunk in sin. And now it's much, much more difficult for him to do what it is that he's supposed to do than for everybody else. And so according to the pain is the gain. And the same it is for what we regard today as about tshuva. Okay. Okay, very good. Okay, so a round of applause for page 420. Baruch Hashem. Oh, Mayor. Mayor is trying to get in, and I didn't see his call.
No, I'm here, Rabbi.
Oh, you're here. Okay. Oh, very good. Okay, you
I
you
snuck
figured
in,
it
I
out.
guess. Yes.
Yeah,
somehow.
this is my session, Rabbi. I'm the one that has to let people in.
Okay, good. Mayor knew to go to Lou's meeting.
Yep.
Yeah, I called, but I didn't. Okay. Anyway.
I know. I
Okay.
saw the call, but I had the phone off, the ringer off. So.
Yeah, sure. That's so very good. So I'm glad you're here, and now you could read the next paragraph for us, Mayor, please.
Okay. When a person increases his performance of good deeds and conducts himself in piety, reach a level where no sin comes to his hand, and he will not stumble over any infraction. Like the saying of our sages in Chulin, the Holy One, blessed be he, does not cause any infraction to be violated by the animals of the righteous. All the more so, the righteous themselves. This is because once a person reaches this level, they declare upon him in heaven, be cautious of Rav so-and-so, in such a way that the wicked one, evil inclination, awaits to entrap the righteous man, but God does not abandon him to his hands. Oh. Okay.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Good. So let's go to the next paragraph. The reason that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and who has not read yet? Alan. Please.
Page 420.
421.
421. When a person increases,
No, the next one.
next one, all right. The reason that the Holy One, blessed be he, does not allow the evil inclination to provoke the righteous is because he knows the way of the righteous, and their strength and power is known to all of the hosts of heaven, that they are mighty men who overcome their evil inclination. It is unnecessary to trouble them. The letter of the Lord dictates that they should receive their total reward without further effort, but what advantage is there to the owners except the vision of their eyes? Even though everything is revealed and anticipated by Hashem, the Holy One, blessed be he, wanted the entire heavenly host to know that Hashem and his judgment are righteous, and that he treats a man according to his deeds. Like the Holy Zohar explains the verse in Bereshis, and Hashem tested Abraham, that the concept of a test is inapplicable to the Holy One, blessed be he. Rather, it is the language of raising a banner. Therefore, he created the evil inclination so that it would be made known before the eyes of all his creations. This individual performed the righteous actions of Hashem and kept his judgment. They will earn the reward of virtuous. Since permission has been granted to the destroyer, evil inclination to seduce and incite the righteous, he also deduces the wicked ones, violate and are punished. The conclusion is that the Holy One, blessed be he, did not create the evil inclination in order to exact retribution from the wicked. Heaven forbid. For God does not desire evil and vengeance from his creations. Rather, he created it in order to give a good reward to the righteous who overcome their evil inclination and provide gratification to their maker.
Wow. Okay, very interesting. Hashem does not create the evil inclination in order to provide a way to exact punishment from the wicked. Hashem doesn't want to do that, he says. But he created it in order to allow the person who is going to not listen to the Yetzer Hara to receive reward. Because truth to be told, the without the Yetzer Hara, it seems that the reward for doing mitzvahs would be very
You
minimal.
wouldn't need, right, because there would be no temptation not to do them.
So that's the hope. That's what he's saying over here. The purpose of the Hashem creating the Yetzer Hara was to give a reward for the righteous who overcome the Yetzer Hara, and that's going to be their payment. Okay, very good. A round of applause for page 421. Baruch Hashem. Now, what do we have on 422? Oh, do we have any time left?
No.
No. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so tomorrow Eliezer is going to start.
All right,
This is
very
Hashem.
good. Talk to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Have a good day, everybody.
All the best.